Welcome. My name is James,
My name is Mike.
and we're from WICR. This is the voice box where we kind of go over some of our favorite things going on with entertainment and media today. And sometimes I get to see Mike, everyone in the way. Mike, how are you?
I'm doing good. Finals are coming up, guys. Make sure you study. Make sure you prepare. If you got final projects, make sure to get them in early, less stress. If you got final exams, just start studying now. A lot of review sessions are being offered, especially with the tutoring services.
Yeah, so busy times up ahead. There's definitely a lot. You want to make sure with everything going on, like Mike said, stay focused and stay on top of things because we've all been there and we all know that we're not going to do it. And it's just a whole lot of stress right at the end when you have 6 or 7 final projects that you haven't started. So just start them,
Yeah,
some good
get the ball rolling.
yeah, develop some good study habits. You know you're gonna have projects, you're gonna have tests and quizzes at the end. So stay prepared for them and keep up on top of everything because there's so much going on all
Yeah.
the time. It's really difficult to keep on top of everything.
Yep. We're at the final stretch. Me and James are freshmen, so we're very close to completing our first year of college. James, have you learned anything so far? What have you learned?
Okay, that was a lot. That was a loaded question. What have I learned? Like new?
Yeah.
I would probably have to say oh, I dropped it. However, I could tell you all about gram negative and gram positive cells.
I have no idea what those are.
It's the difference in like the cell. So gram negative and it gets affected and has a different type of cell wall. So when I can tell you how to stain actually. How to stain different cells with the iodine, the decolorizer, things like that. I did drop that bio class. So that actually is just pointless information.
So,
that
but you do know that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, right?
Yeah, I
Okay.
I think I got
That's
that
the
one.
important one.
I think that we had to label a diagram on a test, and I got the mitochondria right, and the other like 7 or 8 things wrong. But I did that. I don't know what have you learned since you've been here.
Well, luckily with our media class, I got to learn how to edit videos, which is something I've always wanted to do. We have access to the Adobe Creative Cloud, so we got access to Adobe Premiere Pro, and I really enjoy editing. Well, actually, our final project is we're doing like a newscast, so and I got most of the editing done, and I absolutely enjoyed it. It was definitely an assignment that I can see myself doing for my 4 years here.
Yeah, that's awesome. I guess. See, this is why I'm bad at thinking of things on the spot. Yeah, the media class. I learned how to host a podcast.
Oh yeah, we got this. Yeah,
I learned how to speak in front of microphones. I
Mhm.
learned how to use cameras. I learned what a scrum.
Scrum.
That is when all of the people and the news people and journalists swarm a source to try to get
Yeah,
information.
lower thirds.
Lower thirds, the sign off. I learned, okay, yeah, I learned those things. I learned how to, I don't know if you can associate it here, but being here helped me to get an internship because
Mhm.
it was out of the way or in the same location. So that opened up a door. So I learned how to use like a soundboard. I've learned how to the other day I ran an entire show. So I got the whole hour segment. So I was able to patch in phone calls. I had to switch in between the ad breaks and talk and learn what the hosts all have to say. And then on Fridays, I host another one for WVOX. We host the intern show, which we just did a promo for. So I guess I could say I know how to do a lot of that. And yeah, I can see myself doing a lot of it.
Good. We made the right choice majoring in media.
Yeah, I can say for the first time in a while, I've made progress in school and can actually say like, okay, I'm better off for it.
Mhm.
I know what I'm doing and I'm glad that I did this. So that's always fun.
So we got a couple things to go over. James before the show brought up we got Pusha T's album. It's almost dry.
Yes.
I believe
it's
it
almost
sold.
out. I was like, it is.
I believe it sold 55K first week, something like
Wow.
that, which is big for Pusha T. Pusha T is like amazing, but he just doesn't. He's not very mainstream. He doesn't do big numbers, like especially guys like Drake and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But this album, it's so
This
good.
album was some big numbers.
Yeah, this album is amazing. I absolutely love this album.
Yeah, I really liked it. I Yeah, and this is one of the first Pusha T's that I've ever listened to.
Me
Of
too.
course, I did the feature list was very attractive to me.
Mhm.
So that was my main reason going into it. But surprisingly, not surprisingly, some of my top hits like from there were just the Pusha T ones. It wasn't even like
Yeah.
some of the features. Like his tracks just on his own, like Diet Coke was just good.
Like, the production he has, like, apparently, half the album is produced by Pharrell, the other half is produced by Kanye West.
Mhm.
Like, these beats, like, Pusha T has been known for actually rapping on some pretty sick beats, but these are some of the most diverse beats I never would have thought he would ever be on, and he absolutely crushes them on each track.
Yeah, I was reading something about that where Pharrell and Ye, the artist formerly known as Kanye West, had a lot of inspiration, and Pusha T speaks on that and says that they approach music in two completely different ways. Where Kanye is all about the exact quote was like Kanye will ask for like 1,000 verses. Like you can never give him too many
Mhm.
lines. And Pharrell was a lot more about trying to create that type of beat. And so he actually credits the two of them for he sort of ended up in the middle of that and
Yeah.
created what is arguably a really, really good project.
I said, like, and I don't say this lightly, guys, I think honestly, Kendrick Lamar's dropping next month. He's got competition for album of the year. This is sick. I think the songs that we should especially look out for on Pusha T's is Dreaming of the Past, Neck and Wrist, and Rock and Roll. Those are my top three.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are my top three. I think Neck and Wrist is much better on like the second listen, but it's like Jay-Z, he just comes on any track and he's just like, I'm Jay-Z, guys. I'm Hova. You already know what it is.
Yeah, you're right. It was definitely it's a second listened
Hmm.
like I slept on it the first time. I was
Yeah.
like, this is pretty good. And then I listened to it the second time. And you're right. For me though, I would probably have to say I really liked Dreaming of the Past. I really
Yeah.
liked Diet Coke. Really liked Call My Bluff too.
Yeah. And
That
like,
was a really good one, and then there was it the one with yeah, Dreaming of yeah, um, and then I did like the long awaited, the much controversial, Cudi and
yeah.
Kanye feature. The last one that we'll have,
Mhm.
I think they ended it on an alright note,
Yeah.
but like I said, the track before it and the track after it, was very, very happy to listen to. So that was surprising to me. I thought that would be one of the only like tracks that I would listen to on this album because I didn't know
Mhm.
what any of the style was going to be like. So I was in for a very big surprise when it was the exact opposite. But great album overall, great work.
Yeah.
Lot of time and effort goes into these music
I
projects.
think we're seeing prime time Pusha T.
Mm, yeah, so that's great for him.
So in other news, Sony had like an event at CinemaCon where
Oh,
they
alright.
yeah, they unveiled their first 10 minutes of the new Spider-Verse movie, which is really sick. I think it's exclusive that you can't watch it on YouTube. You had to be there for it. But from what I can tell, it seems awesome. It talks about like Ghost Spider, aka Gwen Stacy, and like Spider-Man 2099.
Mhm.
The biggest news that they have there, which I'm absolutely disappointed in Sony. For those of you guys don't know that Sony holds some of the rights to some of the Spider-Man characters, and like Marvel holds rights to some of the others. It's like a mixed partnership. So this is the biggest news. Sony expands their Spideyverse universe with El Muerto. Film starring Bad Bunny enters the ring on January 12th, 2024. Do you have any idea who El Muerto is?
Is it Bad Bunny, the music guy?
Yeah, yeah, he is the music guy.
I don't know who El Muerto is.
He is. I didn't know either. I had to Google him this morning. He is like one of the most background, like back of the background Spider-Man characters I've ever heard of. He's maybe appeared like twice in comics. I'm not even sure, but like Sony has awesome characters that they can use, and like it's a big
Mhm.
deal because this would be the first superhero movie starring a Latin American, someone
Oh,
Spanish.
alright.
But here, this is like the other cool characters that Sony has access to, and they're just not using. They have Silver Sable, who I thought was pretty sick. In the Spider-Man PS4 game, she's a big part of it. Black Cat, also a big part of the game. Silk, which is a I don't want to sell her short as a female Spider-Man, but she's a female web slinger. Spider Woman, and then Spider Man 2099. They have the rights to it. Like, is obviously it's a big deal that it's a Latino led superhero movie. But if you want to do that with a much more compelling and interesting character, you
Yeah,
could have
you
done
have the
Spider Man
guy.
2099 because the character is Mexican. So I'm just absolutely like, why you have such cool rights to such cool characters, and then you give us this? Like, no one asked for this. After Morbius sunk so bad, you're really gonna pull this one
Yeah, they seem determined to
to lose
pull.
my interest.
Yeah, I was gonna say they seem determined to pull like an underdog story because I that was the same problem that you're describing now is the same problem that from what I remember a lot of people had with Morbius
Yeah.
is you have the opportunity to have these superheroes that people know even if you're not like a comic book person like a lot of people just know superheroes like at
Hmm.
this point they're part of culture and Sony seems determined to make an underground hit. Like that's what I seems to be getting at is they want I don't know why you would follow it, but they want like their Suicide Squad. They want their B-list characters to overpower even like the A-list characters. However, again, they like aren't doing that. However,
Like,
so
I'm a comic book geek, and like Spider
mhm.
Man is one of my favorite like characters of all time. I had no idea who this guy was. I
Yeah.
read his backstory. His backstory is very dull to me. I was not interested, and it just seems like. Also, they confirmed that Venom 3 will be a thing. That they're going to do a third Venom movie, which the Venom movies are actually good. That's the only thing good Sony.
Yeah, and that's and
Yeah,
even still, like, that just proves the point, like, that was just a A-list like, everyone knows Venom, like, my sister knows Venom, you know?
exactly. I don't like why. Why are you doing this?
Yeah, I would love to hear
The creator of the
that's
boardroom.
yeah,
Yeah.
you that's one of those, oh, what I would give to be a fly on the wall and just sit there and listen to them have all of these different conversations, and then be like, all right, let's give $8 million to like this person, and then 8 million for the lights, and then another like 6 million to do this, and then they're just like, all right, and then we can actually start the
Like I
movie.
said before, like if the whole thing was of them casting Bad Bunny, because Bad Bunny is like super hot right now and has been for like 2-ish years,
Hmm.
they could have just done Spider-Man 2099, and I would have been awesome because that's a more recognizable character and a much more interesting character who's already going to be in the animated Spider-Verse movie. So it just does not make any sense from a creative standpoint, and I don't think it even makes sense from a financial standpoint for Sony.
Yeah, that's all strange. We're gonna have to keep a close eye on that one because I don't know. We'll have to look. I have seen some of the. I saw the first. I've seen that teaser for Into the Spider Verse,
Yeah.
where Gwen just enters his room
Hmm.
out of nowhere, and then then it's him going through all of the different timelines, and he gets knocked by Spider Man 2099 and all those different ones. So I've seen that. So I'll also keep my eye out for that one. But
Yeah. Well, we got bigger fish to fry than Sony and their whole Spider-Man character fiasco. Guess who owns Twitter now?
yeah, big news. So that's crazy too. And I'm one of the weird people who like does use Twitter. Like
Oh
I
yeah,
don't post a single thing on it,
me
but
neither.
I look and like I'm an
I read
active
it like
like
it's like the Sunday
participant.
paper.
Yeah, like I'll be honest, like I go to the trending to
Hmm.
see what's like interesting. That's how I stay informed with different like culture things like that. I follow people who like post live news updates, things like that. So I've been I've been approaching the Elon buying Twitter situation at like arm's length, where it's almost
Yeah,
like I don't want to acknowledge it until it happens. Cause like I don't want to think about what is happening or what's going on until I'm actually going to have to see some type of result come out from it. So Elon Musk, world's richest man at age, he's 50 now.
he's 50 now.
Yes, I want to
He actually
say
looks. If he's 50, he looks good for 50.
he has a lot of hair plugs.
I've seen
Yeah,
pictures of him
of
like
his old
balding.
head, and it's like become so rich that your hair wants to come back. He's a lot of hair plugs. Again, like he's rich. Like, probably has some type of Botox or some type of something somewhere. Allegedly. I don't know. The hair plugs are real. He did Elon Musk's to buy Twitter. I'm reading from US Magazine. This is the headline. Reaches $44 billion
Yep.
deal after rejecting seat on social media platforms board. $44 billion is what he said is his final offer.
Now, I don't think it's his money, it's his prerogative, it's his choice what to do with it. But think about what other causes $44 billion could have
Yeah,
gone
it's
to.
crazy. Cash. That's and also so that's a really big thing to point out is that he has like haha. Do you remember the UN when he was like, I'll give
They give him like a
six
budget of like 6
yeah, I'll
billion.
give you $6 billion and I'll end world hunger. And then I looked in, I actually didn't know he did do that. They
He did?
then so he then not publicly, so I didn't know this. I looked into it because I thought he never did it. I
That's
saw
what I
him
thought.
pledge. Um 3 or 4 days later, he secretly donated the money, and then, like, a week after, a budget came out of the UN, like, council, and they were like, "Oh, we have a $6 billion budget to do this and that." So I
Mhm,
think he may have done it. Either way, this is $44 billion that he's prepared to offer the Twitter board share that in
mhm.
cash. This is not the reason that the deal has been so up in the air is because no one believes that he has $44 billion in cash. A lot of his money is tied up in
Like
his stocks
stocks
and
and
his
like yeah.
assets. Like,
Yeah.
it's just he's like a rich person and so he's just rich. This though, $44 billion offer is 44 in cash. That is how he is able to that is what he is trying to present them, and that is why the deal has been so rocky, is because people are like, you can't, like, you don't have $44 billion in cash. And that's actually been one of the biggest, everything you read about it is what they're gonna have to do in case this falls through, in case this doesn't go well. So it is really interesting. But I thought what was even more interesting is I didn't know, as I was reading a little more about Elon's life, I didn't know his 7 kids had really interesting
I
names.
had no idea. The only kind of family history I know of Elon Musk is that he's actually from South Africa and his father
Mhm.
owned a gem mining company.
They still do.
They still do?
And I'm gonna have to double check that, but, like, allegedly, like, also have slaves in there, so
Because I know Africa for a long time struggled like with an apartheid, which is like it's literally a social and law system implemented that puts people of certain colors lower than people of other colors, which is pretty obviously unfortunate.
mhm. Yeah, so interesting guy with an interesting life, I guess. And now he's looking to buy Twitter. It's officially come through
Yeah.
that he's got it. All right, so yeah, congrats. GG. Bye-bye Twitter. I saw it this morning. A bunch of people left. His his original reasoning is he says he's a free speech
Yeah, I saw that. He also
absolutionist.
promised to get rid of a lot of the spam bots on Twitter.
I saw that. So he wanted to open source the algorithm and the code and make that just like public information so people can know how like the algorithms work and things like that. Which in terms of that, like cool, that's great. Like I don't come across a lot of bots on Twitter, but I don't use Twitter.
Mhm.
Like I just scroll through it. So doing all that is cool. His free speech promises, we're gonna have to look into that and hold his feet to the fire and see if he actually did that, what he plans. I don't really know what he's going to change, and if he's just planning on revamping the entire terms of service, because that was most of the reason that these people tend to get banned. So I don't know if he plans on completely relooking at the terms of service, or if he's just gonna mass unban people who have been banned. Maybe I don't know if you
Maybe like
get like
inactive
under review.
accounts.
Yeah, I don't know if you can like if it's under review. I know like YouTube, if you get like copyright
Mhm.
strikes, which is like against the TOS, your account gets like under reviewed and they add, but they can also take away strikes. I don't know. Maybe he'll do that with Twitter. I'll be honest, I'm just like you said, like I'm just kind of more like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Like 44 billion. I really do wonder what we could have done with that. But I guess we have Twitter now.
yeah. I don't, and a lot of people are saying, "Oh, Twitter's going to change. It's going to change so fast and so rapidly now that he owns it." I really don't see any big changes coming to Twitter just
Yeah,
because he owns it now.
I just don't know what he can do.
Also, it's like we can all take a break from Twitter. Let's be honest. Like
Yeah,
of
it
all
can't really hurt.
platforms, Twitter we could probably take a break from.
Yeah, we'll be all right with the mass exoduses and the people leaving this and that. But an interesting story that we're gonna have to keep up with, and definitely a fun read to get into.
Mhm.
But in some more lighthearted news, who are Elon Musk's kids? So his first one, after marrying in January 2012, this is coming from page6.com. There was an article that just kind of went over his kids and all of their different mothers, and also some of the stories that happened to them. So his first kid in 2000 was Nevada Alexander Musk, who unfortunately died of SIDS
Mm,
at only 10 weeks. So that was his first
mm.
kid in 2000. No idea. Then is Griffin and Xavier Musk, who are twins. Mark and Wilson. So they gave birth to the twins in 2004. They're now 17.
So really, the only I mean, Elon Musk has only been in the public light for a number of years,
Mhm.
but really, I feel like the only kid that we knew a lot about was that one that he had named like
Oh,
XAE
oh,
12 dash whatever.
we'll get there.
Oh, we're okay.
Oh, don't worry. That's part of the 7. So then there's Kai, Saxon, and Damien Musk. The trio are now 16. Then Musk divorced in 2008, and they share custody of the 5 sons.
5 sons?
Yes, because this is all with his first wife. So this is all the ones before, and now these 3. So the twins and I guess the triplets?
Jeez.
Or just not the triplets, but they also welcomed. Oh, yep, triplet sons. So he had twins and then he had triplets. He shares custody of them with his first wife.
So they're all males, and then he was able to create twins and then triplets.
Yes,
That's gotta be rare.
well, so I want to say his triplets were natural born.
Mm.
I don't know what IVF means, but I think in vitro fertilization. So I know that his twins were natural conceptions. These triplets, I think they used
In vitro
I don't want to say
fertilization.
another person, but like when you have another person
Mhm.
like carry out your pregnancy, so it was that. Finally, your favorite. We get to your favorite. So what is it? It's Ash. So
Apparently,
X stands for Ash. It's XAEA dash XII. But that
I believe that there
in
was an
layman
issue. They
terms.
also could not put that on a birth certificate, or there's some sort of law or rule prohibiting them from putting that. And they gave it they gave the baby like a regular name afterwards, I think.
Yeah, I think like the doctor just saw the birth certificate and like slapped them. I was like, I'm not writing that.
Imagine you're a nurse and you're working a 14-hour shift, and someone hands you and says, "Oh, you need to type up this birth certificate." Oh, what's the name of the kid? Pythagoras theorem. Like y equals mxb squared. I would be so mad if I was a nurse.
After 2 marriages, Musk started dating Grimes in May, and she gave birth to their son. So X is like Ash. It's like X Ash 12, and it's like his favorite plane. It's like a Greek symbol. The 12 is like his favorite plane. This and that. X was originally named that, but the AE and 12 violated California law
Yeah.
for not being part of the English alphabet, forcing parents to change his name. Then he breaks up with Grimes. Then there's Exodark Sidriel Musk.
Like,
Who's his next
is he
kid?
pulling names out of a hat?
So that's his next kid. In March 2022, that they welcomed their first daughter via surrogate and was given the nickname Y after the other child was nicknamed X. So it's like cute, you know what I mean? It's like aw.
Sure. And like a Pokemon name, sort of cute way.
Yeah, so didn't know the before, and I didn't know I didn't know about Exa, but yeah, so Musk has a lot of kids, is what I'm learning, and he has a lot of money, and now he has a lot of Twitter, so and a lot of hair.
I will fully support him buying Twitter if he creates an edit tweet button for Twitter.
Yeah, right.
That seems
Where's that?
like the number one demand on Twitter for people to be edit tweets. But other than that, like I really just don't see anything happen. Like all these people are like, oh, I can't support Elon. I'm like, okay. I feel like a lot of people are just grandstanding, kind of just like patting themselves on the back.
Well, it is Twitter. It is Twitter. So
Yeah.
everyone is like, "Oh no, like
Everyone's
now."
holier than thou.
Yeah, so it's like, "Oh, everything that I've been saying is right and everything that everyone else has been saying is wrong." So like, now what do we do?
Well, so let's run down the list. Twitter is now owned by Elon Musk.
Yep.
Facebook was in court because of the elections and Russian bots.
Mhm. And the
Uh,
data mining and
oh yeah,
stealing, which is still legal after all of that happened. They're
and
still okay with that. Did you see John Oliver? So the John Oliver has like a weekly show where he does like a recap and
yeah, oh
everything.
yeah.
It's last week tonight. He just paid for a bunch of politicians' data in the White House.
Oh yeah, okay,
And
okay. Now it
and
rings a
so
bell.
yeah, he just like paid for it and was like, if you really don't want me to like leak all of this information about you, you could just make it illegal for me to do it. Like that would be cool if you just made it so people can't purchase like other people's like data history and whatnot. I'm gonna do it, but like you could stop me by just like not making it illegal. Haven't read anything after that.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of episodes of his show, and he is pretty funny. And like he actually reports on like, big news, obviously, but
Hmm.
he goes after like a lot of small stories and brings a lot of attention to them, and those are like crucial issues. So my brother and my dad watch his show constantly, and he's so funny too. He's so talented.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of the reports that he does. He has a lot of well-founded information. So
Plus,
I
he's
don't know what
British.
his yeah,
The accent is killer.
yeah. Well, he has his up and his downs. But yeah, also like his whole investigative team. I'm sure he has a team of journalists and people all coming together to fact report. Great show. I've been a fan of it. And yeah, I guess he's gonna have a field day with this. So we'll have to see what John Oliver says. And if the TV man says I can like Elon Musk or not like Elon Musk.
Yeah. So going that there's also TikTok, which I believe it's founded in China or something like that. Remember, it was like a
Yeah.
Donald Trump when he was still currently president. There was speculation that he might pull the app off the App Store because it was like stealing data from people allegedly and stuff like that. So that really leaves us with what social media platform? I guess Snapchat.
We still got Reddit.
We still got okay.
Yes.
Reddit should not be the prime social media one.
That's where everyone's gonna be.
No, that's where every wrong opinion comes.
That's where I'm gonna have to transfer to Reddit. I haven't. So believe it or not, I don't use Reddit. I don't know if that helps. I don't know if like that's a strange thing. I don't use Reddit. I don't understand it. Maybe like I'm just kind of dumb, but like I don't use it. But I don't post a lot of things on social media.
Yeah.
So that makes like something like Reddit just like that much more like because you just are kind of like in these different groups. I don't know. I guess I'm gonna have to start using Reddit though if Elon nukes Twitter.
I think it's redundant now that we have TikTok, but I petition for us to bring back Vine
Yeah,
because
right. Why
Vine
not?
was funny. Vine was like the prime like
We were in
middle
a
school app.
The world was in a good place when Vine
We
was
had
coming
guys
out.
like Thomas Sanders who did
Oh
all those
gosh, with his
impressions.
voices and impressions and the singing.
Yeah, and then we also had King Botch.
King Bosch was
Yeah.
great. I liked Marlon Webb. I thought he
Oh
was funny.
yeah.
Who's another one? Oh gosh, there's so many people from that app that so like Cody Ko was
Yeah.
from that app. Then you also have people like Lance.
Mhm.
He's like David Dobrik, Jason Nash. All those people were all like
Mhm.
Vine started, and then they just
I think a lot of them moved either to YouTube or TikTok now.
a lot of them just moved on to YouTube and just
Mhm.
started printing money. Like they moved to YouTube and would release like 20-minute vlogs. And they were just probably took like 3 days to edit because of all of the fast cuts, but just printed money. Like David Dobrik almost killed a guy and like
Wait, excuse me?
is still getting like 6 million views on different
He almost
videos
killed a guy?
with his friend Jeff Wittick. So
You gotta give me more context.
I was a pretty big David Dobrik fan before he tried to kill his friend. They had like a construction equipment like digger, like the ones that like
Like the jack?
no, the big machines with the claws and the
Oh.
hands. You know the ones? I don't know if you were ever a kid, but like if you were ever in a construction zone, they like just spin around. They're the
Yeah.
ones that spin all the way around.
Mhm.
It's like as a kid, like you go on them and spin. They attached like a rope to the hand and were like swinging people around in the water. So they put the thing in water and did that. David was driving it and his friend was on the rope and David all of a sudden like stopped turning because he was just like was turning, and then stopped. But
All that
like inertia
momentum.
still
Oh.
happens. So his friend slammed into the side of it.
Ooh.
Massive like brain damage. His
Oh
like
my
eye was
god.
messed up. He had to get surgery. He's like still not great right now. Had to go to the hospital. And like pretty much everyone is like it's the classic like if this had happened like a millimeter higher or lower, like you would have been dead. Um,
Oof.
so, but yeah, he's still like, and now the two of them, like I see it on Snapchat. That's where I get it because Philip DeFranco just gives me like the rundown between the two of them, and they're both just like blaming each other for it. Like David is still, he's not on
I had
TV
no
anymore.
idea, and he must have kept it under wraps to a certain extent because, like I said, I've just never heard of it. And I look
Well, it's like one of those. It's one of those if you know about him. Like the only reason
okay.
I know about him was because I stopped watching him at that point, and then that was like the next thing that I saw from him. So then that was when I was like, okay, like, I'm not watching this guy anymore. But crazy stuff from him. However, I do think he was trying to make his like way onto TV, and
Okay.
he definitely isn't getting on TV anymore. I haven't seen him like have any of his shows
I
because
don't
of
know
it.
if any
So
like YouTubers kind of made that jump to television. Like you see YouTubers
there's a
in
few.
commercials now.
There's some. So the Hot Ones guy, he has his
Oh
own
yeah, yeah,
show.
Sean Evans, yeah.
Yeah, like Sean. So he's still. I guess it just depends on how, because a lot of like people, just YouTubers, just aren't professional. A
Hmm.
lot of it is like you can get like 6 or 7 million people, but like when you get to like TV, like it's pretty
Yeah.
like
Like
niche
I've seen a lot
numbers.
of people from College Humor, if you ever watch any of their content.
Yeah,
A
a
lot of
lot
them
of
in
them.
commercials, and I've seen also Markiplier. He's in a men's mental health awareness commercial.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so I've never really seen anyone make a jump to a show or anything like
Yeah,
that.
besides the like smaller people, like writers for College Humor, like you see
Mhm.
them kind of everywhere. You see that it is crazy because it is two completely different like medias at the end of the
Yeah.
day. Like it is crazy that I could probably tell you more like internet people than I could like actual actors at
Mhm.
this point because of how little I'm watching like actual television anymore and how much I'm watching all of these like social media people and
Yeah.
like all the attention they get. And you have to wonder though, what's going to be the next transition? Is it going to be a bunch of people from YouTube and these social media platforms making their way onto like national television or things like that? Or what is much easier and much often the case, everyone ends up on TikTok.
Probably TikTok.
Every single you have brands, you have companies, you have like celebrities, actors, all of them end up making a transition into like social media.
Mhm.
We're probably not going to see on things in terms of like logic where they're going to go from like doing something in the public light to like playing video games on like
Mhm.
a video game website. But I feel like it's people are probably going to more so always drift towards social media with that like niche. I can
Mhm.
figure out I could reasonably get the names of all 3 million people that are like following me and I can connect with them on a more personal level. I feel like you're probably going to see a lot of that.
Yeah, like I spoke about this with one of my friends recently that me and you are kind of like the last generation of people who simultaneously watch YouTube growing up, but still watch like Saturday morning cartoons, like that
I'd
type of
like
stuff.
cable. Like
Yeah,
literally we're just the last people to be I feel like by the time I'm like going for like a house, I feel like I'm never even going to think of cable.
yeah,
Like
like
we were definitely the last you were I would agree with that we were some of the last people to deal with like cable.
like I remember watching stuff like Regular Show and Adventure Time, and then later going on YouTube and watching like Minecraft videos or Van Oss Gaming. If anyone if that rings a bell for anyone, I still kind of watch this content now. But like, yeah, we're moving away from cable, everything's streaming, and someone said like YouTubers are kind of like the new Saturday morning cartoons. That's what kids watch,
Mm.
and there really isn't any new cartoons on cable. I mean, obviously, I'm a little bit older, so I'm not really in touch with that world anymore. But you don't really see, and if it is, it's going to like HBO Max or it's going to be on Hulu. It's just crazy to me think like a lot of my humor comes from cartoons. Like I Regular Show was like a big part of my childhood, and just no one cares or just no one's just in that world anymore.
Yeah, it's definitely a different world that we're in now.
Well, if anyone, I know you guys can't see, but our producer Andrew, he was kind of poking his head up when I said, I guess, regular show. Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah. He gives a lot of nods and a lot of thumbs up. I guess he's also a big fan.
Yeah. Well, so now you're right. Like I am thinking about it. I'm trying to think of the next children's TV show that I could think of.
Ryan's toy review on
Yeah,
YouTube. That's
right.
probably it.
It's exactly right. It used to be in the house, like out of the TV used to be blasting like Yu-Gi-Oh! Used to be blasting like
Exactly.
regular show, all of these different things.
Andrew's getting really interactive today when he
Y-
said, "I
But
said regular show." You said Yu-Gi-Oh.
but now you like in my house, like what's being played, like it's not the TV, it's like an iPad, and it's like
Yeah.
Jacksepticeye is like screaming in my house, and I'm like, what is happening? Yeah, you're right though. Like even my little brother, like if it's not video games, then it's something on YouTube. It's
Mhm.
something about like the video games that he's doing. It's something about some like goofy entertainment thing. But yeah, like I'd even just personally like, I haven't watched TV in a while, like, probably a good couple years. Like, I don't like watching
Mhm.
cable. I just don't like South Park and, like, Impractical Jokers. You know
Which
what I mean? Like, the things that were just continuously on and you can, like you're not actually paying full attention to. But, yeah, like, when I'm watching TV shows, like, I don't wanna sit like, I don't wanna watch an ad.
yeah,
What? Like,
exactly.
every 20 minutes? No. Like, I wanna watch the TV show that I would like to watch.
Yeah, I think
It's
that's the thing
crazy.
is that cable television is so structured. It's all time slots. It's all this, that, and this. Whereas YouTubers, they can pick up a camera and film or do anything.
Yeah, it's a
They make their own
20-minute
schedule.
video,
Yeah.
it's a 15-minute video, it's this game 1 minute, it's my life the next minute, like, it's
Mhm.
just really versatile, so there's definitely more content on there, and I think that's what it's starting to become. Like, YouTube at this point is like the Netflix of
Oh yeah.
you could scroll through and you spend more time trying to find what you wanna watch than what you wanna watch, but when you find, like, those people that you watch, like, I could be subscribed to, like there was a time during, like, quarantine, I was only subscribed to, like, 2 or 3 people, but I
Mhm.
they had such, like, catalogs, such
Yeah.
backlogs, they were releasing, like, every day. That's the other thing, like, it's a demanding thing to do these, but you could producing content, like, every single day. You have different
Mhm.
people who are all doing it,
And it's
like
very much on a personal level. Like a lot of YouTubers collab very frequently.
mhm,
Like you remember back in the day, there was like FaZe Clan and all that stuff. Now we have people like Offline TV, which are huge. The Misfits, OTK with like Jay Schlatt and like a lot of his fellow YouTubers. Like whereas like crossovers really don't happen that often on cable, but
mhm,
for all we know, like the internet is connecting people all around the world and they're collaborating frequently. Like cable just can't keep up. Like I remember Apple TV's being pushed a lot. And like, yeah, I don't see myself getting cable when I get a house. I see myself just streaming, having everything on one device.
yeah, and so it's definitely interesting to think about to see kind of the downfall of cable. Like you fumbled the bag.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, you had the biggest head start. You had everything going for you.
that's just
You're the
time
most
though.
well-known thing. You fumbled the bag right at the end. It's kind of like Netflix now.
I was just about to go
It's like
there.
Netflix now where it's or like Skype. Like it's you know what I mean?
Lost like
Like
the 20-year lead to Zoom.
yeah, like it really goes to show you just how fast kind of everything moves to
Mhm,
where even the most like established, well-known, oh, everyone know. Like I'm sure when TVs and like with cable, like I didn't think cable was going anywhere. Even when I had Netflix, I was like,
mhm.
well, TV's not going anywhere. Then of course, then Disney was like, huh,
Yeah.
let me make sure you don't ever need to change the channel ever
Well,
again.
on Netflix really shot themselves in the foot. Uh, I remember now they're thinking about adding commercials to it, and also
Wow.
the value of Netflix dropped so significantly that
It dropped yesterday. They had a massive,
yeah,
surge of
like
just
billions.
cancellations.
Yeah, like no, they're trying to crack down on password sharing and all that, and to make up for it, they gutted like completely cut it all their upcoming animation projects. They completely just destroyed everything.
Really?
So like I remember the series Bones. It was like a comic book series, was huge. And when it was announced it was gonna be anime on Netflix, everyone went wild. But they just completely cut it. They and to make up for I guess lost cost. Yeah, so I think HBO Max has a way better catalog. I watch a lot of movies, But like HBO Max is getting series like South Park, like you said, South Park is actually on HBO Max and Hulu,
Mm-hmm.
and they get new episodes. Yeah, Netflix, and then really, especially American Netflix, has a very weak catalog compared to like Netflix around the world.
Yeah, it's like a weird catalog. They'll have like the
Yeah,
sequel, but they won't have the
yeah,
original,
or
or they'll have the third one and they won't have like the first two. Like
yeah,
trying to watch the Terminator movies was so difficult because it was like there was only 1 week where I was going to be able to watch all of the movies because those were the ones they had on, and then they like pull them. So like I don't really know what that's about.
Netflix is especially insulting when you go search something up and says, "Hey, we don't have that, but we have titles related to that." I'm like, you know what I'm looking for, and then you're just gonna serve me up this second-rate garbage that I was not searching for originally.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely annoying. Is when, especially when you know exactly what you want to watch, and they're
Exactly.
just like, "We don't have that. We have
Netflix
other
like,
stuff."
we've heard of that, but have you
Yeah,
considered
we've
this?
heard of it. And then the worst part is too, I get recommended like the sequel, and then I'll be like, it'll say like, "Oh, recommended searches," and then it'll say like something related to that. I'll click that, and it'll be like, "Oh, that was just like other searches related to that."
Mhm.
Like it's still not the actual thing. But yeah, I really wanted to look into why Netflix
They also up the price.
sucks.
They up the price like
They have.
every couple months. Like I think it's past $15. Like it's crazy. Like no one wants to pay that much, and you really shouldn't be doing that when there's 5 other big streaming services. Like HBO Max now has the Batman, which I've now seen.
Yay!
It has stuff like Mortal Kombat, like movies that are in theaters are
Mhm.
now on HBO Max. Well, Netflix is just kind of twiddling their thumbs, wondering what happened.
Yeah, and even if you look at the almighty like thumb, but Disney I think has been doing that well where they're like,
Mhm.
go see the movie in theaters or pay for it and you can
Which they've actually
get it
stopped that.
you can get it early and that. Oh, okay. Well, then I was gonna say, and then after that, like 2-3 weeks after that, like people are releasing like movies in theaters like on streaming services now.
Yeah, so I can't help but see. I'm not sure if we should read those out loud. There are people in the chat. I'm seeing messages come in. I
Oh
should
yeah.
just proofread those for us real quick.
We should all congratulate Elon on his overpriced used toilet. He grew up rich. He grew up rich.
Yeah,
He
the
did,
father's mining company. We
and
talked about that a little
then
bit.
it's only a matter of time before cable crashes. The movie industry will crash as well. I don't think the movie
Yeah, I don't
industry is
think.
going to crash. That's not going to crash. People are seeing people saw movies during a pandemic. Like just because
Yeah.
you're old does I don't think it's going to
Well, the thing
crash.
is, like, really, I think.
Yeah, only time I watch TV is when it's baseball, and now ESPN streams.
Yeah, I was watching the Met game, and it was not being broadcasted on cable at all. There's actually some deal between MLB and Apple where 2 Friday night games are going to be streamed exclusively on Apple TV. So I actually had to buy a subscription for Apple just to watch the Met game.
Yeah, that was the only. I
And
have to say,
they have an entire like different broadcast team. Like it's not the usual guys.
the only thing that cable had going for it is
Live sports.
people got internet and people had the ESPN bundle.
Mhm.
That was the only reason because anyone that you knew that had cable did not just have cable. They had, it was their internet was
Yeah.
connected to it. They had something else connected to it, and everyone had the ESPN bundle. You just don't need that anymore. Let's go Mets. I'm very sorry for you.
Yeah, let's go Mets. Let's go
I'm
Mets. First place.
I'm very sorry for you. Yeah, but I even sports now. You have, ESPN was just
Hulu
like
has live sports as well.
Hulu just has live sports. Yeah, but I think they fumbled the bag, and I'm glad they fumbled the bag because they're also expensive.
I'm
They
not even
also
saying
routinely had zero competition for the longest time, so it is that expensive because no one else had anything cheaper. But what Disney is like $69.99 for for the year.
yeah, and I don't think cable kind of fumbled the bag. I just think it's just technology and it's getting quicker. Like Blockbuster. If if anyone remembers Blockbuster, I kind of even don't. Blockbuster was the precursor to Netflix, where they would mail the movies to you, or you pick up the movies and rent them. And Netflix completely killed them. And now we're seeing Netflix getting killed.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the way things work. I don't even think it's about them making bad decisions, which they have, but it's just the way life goes.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, entertainment. It's pretty cutthroat.
Yeah, it is very
It's really
cutthroat.
just waiting for the next person to overtake you. But anyway, on that sad,
No, that's
on that sad, bitter note, uh, don't hate the Mets taking the gym. I mean, yeah, go for it. I don't watch
Go
baseball.
for it.
I don't watch baseball. I
Like,
just know the Met that I'm not rooting for the
it's so
Mets.
hard to put people on a baseball because it's a 3-hour long game with 18 minutes of action.
It's a 3 hour that too. That also is like it's going really well when nothing happens.
Yeah.
Like having a great pitcher means you have to sit there and watch nothing happen for the next hour.
Exactly.
I've tried. I'll be honest. I tried again. I had my original, like in high school, when everyone talked about sports. I was like, all right, I should like look into it a little bit, find my one. And then recently, like I tried again. I can't do baseball.
Yeah.
I'm making my way with football. I'm really, you know what? I actually really like basketball. I really want to go all in on basketball. I've been watching. My roommate is a the Heat's fan,
Mm.
so he has those games on a lot. I could actually get into basketball, and I really think
I really want to get into like UFC and MMA because like
Oh
whenever
yeah, those are always fun.
like if those ever come across my feed, I watch them like intently. I'm like, oh my god! And those people they just kill each other for entertainment.
Yeah.
You ever seen like an MMA fighter's like ear? They had like it's called cauliflower ear. It's like twisted. It's like this. It looks like the monster from Goonies ear. They also have a because they get kicked in the shins so much, like shins are all messed up.
Yeah, those are brutal people.
Yeah,
Those are brutal people.
yeah. And a lot in the female division, it's like stone faced women from like Russia who like don't speak any English. They just like it's like they're literally Terminators just beating the
They're
crap
like
out of each
Ivan
other.
Draco.
Yeah,
It's just a
if
woman.
he dies, he dies. Yeah, exactly. Literally like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the UFC, it's normally whenever there's a big fight, like the headliner
Yeah.
fights, everyone does it too. Like
Mhm.
everyone sits down and watches at least once a year, like the next biggest fight. Even if it was like for a while when it was just like the YouTubers and the Paul brothers. Now they have like the UFC is like back in like they have like actual
Yeah.
fighters doing
Easy sport
actual
to pick up
things.
too. Like you don't have to know. There's no teams to follow. There's no specific players, no
Yeah,
stats. It's literally just I'm here to watch two people beat the hell out of each other.
yeah, like you really can just get away with watching the highlights and then
Exactly.
like a pregame show to determine like who you want to root for.
Exactly. You go on Twitter, you see someone land a huge like uppercut or something
Hmm.
like that,
And then
and
you're like, all right.
you're as informed as the next person who sat down and watched it the entire
Yeah,
time.
exactly. But I hope everyone has been informed by our show that we've had and we've been going for a while now. Uh we're gonna have to end off here
Yep.
on this one. But I hope you've all been informed. I hope you all continue to stay informed. Keep up to date with everything that's going on.
Finals, guys. Please study it for finals, guys. It's not a joke. I'm starting to study now, and I'm a horrible student.
Yeah. So make sure you take care of yourselves, stay informed. I have been James.
I've been Mike.
And we're the voice box from WICR. We will see you in the next one. I won't study. Me and me neither.
See ya.